Hello, this is Storm Warden coming at you today with another video, and I want to give you guys an update on our potential tropical cyclone here in the next few days. We are currently at a 60% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days, so something certainly to watch. But before we get into that, if you've been liking my weather content, guys, please subscribe as I will be bringing daily weather updates. And I want to apologize for not giving you guys a video update yesterday. Things were very fast paced and busy, but we are back today. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So starting with this National Hurricane Center outlook, we currently have a 60% chance of cyclone formation, and this has steadily gone up. This has only increased. So so basically, what's happening is confidence is increasing that we will have a tropical cyclone here in the Gulf of Mexico in the next few days, or a depression. But we'll see. We'll get all into that. And then we have another area of interest out here, 30% chance of cyclone formation. This has also had a lot of model support, so we'll see how that goes. But we're only going to talk about this one today because this one is the most concerning and is the closest to land as of now. And it has a better chance of developing than, say, this, which is only at a 30% chance. So we're going to start off by getting that looking at our IR satellite. And here's our Invest. This is Invest 91L. They just tagged this morning, and the expectation is that this will combine with this feature up in here and become one circulation. Now, that is the expectation. Now there's there's still a model or two out there that shows that this will remain pretty disorganized and just move into Mexico. But overwhelmingly, most model guidance actually shows these combining and becoming something like a tropical cyclone or even just a depression. But we'll go through that. So you want to start with the GFS model for this morning. 06C just fresh came out a few hours ago, as we were still sleeping, some of us. And as we go through the model guidance, I want you to watch this area right on down here. I'm going to draw it on your screen so that you're looking at it just as I am. This area right down here, because as this feature shifts south, this feature that just moved out of the Yucatan Peninsula has reached this area just west of the Yucatan Peninsula, and so it's going to combine. And that's the area you want to watch. So let me get that off your screen so that we can move to the model guidance. And as we go through time, hold on one. So we go through time, and the GFS model actually gets us to a pretty appreciable hurricane. So it is possible that we could see a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, particularly very far east Texas coastline to the very far western edges of Louisiana. We could certainly see a hurricane. So that is something to watch in those areas. But and I gotta tell you, like, ocean temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico are very explosive. So that's also helping or feeding to this environment. But another thing to look out for, if this system gets further east, then we could certainly have even a more appreciable system in the Gulf of Mexico. However, if this system stays closer to the coastline, toward the Mexico Texas coastline, then we'll probably have much more of a sloppy tropical depression storm. But if things trend further east, and this storm can get further off the coast into those very warm ocean temperatures, we're gonna have a much more dangerous situation out of this system. So we'll keep watch on that. Here's the Icon model, and the Icon model just led the way, guys. The Icon model has literally led the way. It has been consistent from day one on showing this system developing into a tropical cyclone, and it continues to be consistent. And now other models are grasping on the fact that we could be looking at a tropical system next week. So the Icon model should certainly get its recognition for being so consistent this time around for this system, and it shows a pretty strong tropical storm headed right towards that western, that right along that Louisiana and Texas border. We're going to zoom in. We're going to get a little closer, but right about there, the Icon model has some landfalling system right there. So again, we'll get on to that here as we go through the video, but Icon model's been very, very, very consistent with showing this system doing this, strengthening, getting further east, and becoming a strong tropical storm, maybe a low end hurricane, Category 1 hurricane. So we could certainly be looking at a much more put together system based off the runs of the GFS Icon model. Here we have the Canadian model, and again, we're watching the exact same area that you would watch from the GFS, and it too develops this into a tropical storm just like the Icon model. It develops into a tropical storm. Granted, just a little bit further west on that coastline, and notice it looks a little bit more sloppy. Doesn't look as intense as a GFS or Icon model, and that just comes down to the fact that if it runs right along that coastline, it won't have the ability to really get into those really warm ocean waters to create a much more organized system. So it's something certainly to watch, because that is still on the table. That is still a possibility. So looking at the Euro model, and the Euro model has been very inconsistent. Well, I can't say that. It's been actually been somewhat consistent in showing a non-system. Now, when you look at models, you want to take in each of their biases. Each model has its own bias. For example, sometimes the GFS loves to just show crazy intensities with some systems. That's a bias of the GFS. A bias of the Euro model is that it typically is too weak sometimes with systems. It's just too weak. This may be another one of those cases, because most other models show this storm combining and becoming at least a tropical depression or storm, getting the name Francine. The Euro model says we won't get a name out of this. However, I will say the Euro model has been trending somewhat stronger in the latest model runs. I haven't seen the 06C, so I won't show that, but I will give you guys an update throughout the afternoon on that. So currently the Euro is the weakest, I think, of all the models. But I want to show you something interesting from the Euro AI model, ECAI, and this model has also been consistent, just like the Icon model, and it shows a pretty strong tropical storm, and it actually shows it much further east. So that's very interesting, and I'm telling you guys right now that the Euro AI is pretty far east. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, this isn't, this is my opinion solely. If this storm is this far east, we could be looking at a higher ceiling with this system. This is pretty far east, away from the Texas coastline, and pretty far south of the Louisiana coastline. If it gets this far south and this far east, we could be looking at a much more dangerous situation too, as well. Could certainly have a higher ceiling, because the Gulf is generally favorable for some intensification of this system, especially if it gets this far east. Yeah, we're looking at a higher ceiling, folks, down here along the Gulf Coast, particularly from about Louisiana points west. But I want to say western Louisiana points west certainly have the best chance of seeing some much stronger conditions from this system, bearing it actually develops and gets a name. Now, I want to show you also another model, EUCAMET model, and this model also shows development. And so my point of the point of me showing you all these models is just to show you the consistency within these models. EUCAMET is also very far east again. It's over here towards eastern Louisiana, towards Mississippi. Telling you guys right now, if this system gets this far east, we're looking at a much more stronger system, higher ceiling. Because I want to show you this. Look at these ocean waters over the Gulf of Mexico. Very, very warm, particularly down here as well. But all across the Gulf, storms, the ocean waters are absolutely explosive for development. So if this storm gets over here, any points east of that Texas coastline, we're looking at a much more higher ceiling and a much more dangerous situation. But right now, we're still going through the model guidance. The National Hurricane Center just tagged this as a 60% chance of development. This is now Invest 91L, so we will be getting some hurricane forecast guidance, and so I'll certainly show you that tomorrow morning as I give you an update. But right now, this is our system. Um, this is what we're looking at, and I want to just give you another. So basically, what we have going on is you have. Hold on, guys. Please bear with me this morning. So you have one feature up here. I put number one for this system right up here, and then you have feature number two right on down. This is the Invest 91L. This is Invest 91L. The expectation is that these two will combine together to create a system. Also, we have a stalled front, or we have a front located right up here, which is also another piece of energy. All these pieces of energy are only going to help this system become a little bit more organized, and the expectation is that from some models that this will become a tropical depression or storm. Now, I'm telling you guys right now, whenever we get a system in the Gulf of Mexico, weird things can happen, which is why this system definitely bears watching. And if you're alone that western Louisiana, eastern Texas coastline, you certainly want to be weather aware, because these systems that form over the Gulf of Mexico in such warm waters can do very odd things. They can strengthen quickly. They can catch you off guard. I'm not going to tell you that we're going to get a strong hurricane or anything, but the possibility is there that we could get a tropical storm out of this, and the ceiling could be as high as a low end hurricane Cat 1. So again, you want to watch out for this system. I'm gonna bring you continuous updates through the morning. The next few days. I'll have another update tomorrow morning, and I'll certainly keep you guys weather aware along the Gulf Coast, but particularly from Louisiana and points west towards that eastern Texas coastline. There could certainly be a tropical depression or storm. So, overall, guys, my thoughts are pretty clear. I'm leaning towards just developing. I think this will get the name Francine. I think we'll have a tropical depression or tropical storm Francine here in the next couple of days. And also, I didn't really necessarily give you guys the best timeline. If this system does develop, which I think it will, I'm leaning towards just developing. This would make landfall sometime mid next week, towards Wednesday, Thursday time frame. I will be able to hone in the time frame a little bit more by tomorrow morning as we get closer. We get more model guidance and we get hurricane forecast guidance in. But again, if you're alone at Texas, here, let me get closer for you guys, because I want you to see this. If you're along that Texas Louisiana border right here, if you're anywhere from here to here, I want you to stay weather aware for potential tropical cyclone development, because in this area there could be a tropical depression, storm, or as high as a Category 1 hurricane headed right towards you guys sometime mid next week. If this thing gets further off the coastline, all bets are off. Anything could happen at that point, because the Gulf of Mexico is known for its interesting scenarios. So overall, guys, I'm not going to talk your head off this morning, but I just want to give you guys a brief, in-depth analysis on this system, as it's only been increasing. And there's certainly some concerning model trends. And again, if this stays further along the coastline, we're looking at a very sloppy tropical depression or storm. Regardless of what happens, heavy rain, flash flooding are certainly be the highest threats. But you get a tropical storm or a Cat 1 hurricane, now you got to deal with strong winds. So that's all I got. That's all you got from me today. I'll bring you some updates if we have this gets upgraded or whatever. But you guys stay weather aware.